Welcome to the Sandwich Generation. Everything old is new again. The Sandwich Generation is comprised of those of us who are caring for aging parents and raising our kids. Whether your kids are still at home or off at college, there are rigorous financial and emotional demands on you. Due to the Great Recession, we add yet another layer to the sandwich requiring care and assistance: the boomerang children. These are your adult children you thought were out of the house and living independently, only to return seeking financial assistance due to job loss, divorce, or other circumstances. Being pulled from both generational sides of your family is no easy challenge in today's environment. This presentation should provide some welcome relief, with tips to help you organize and find important resources. This Worksite Financial Solutions seminar is offered through your employer and your retirement plan advisor. Worksite Financial Solutions is a guidance-based, beginning-to-end retirement solution designed to help you create confidence in your financial life. The Worksite Suite offerings includes workplace education that's tailored to your unique needs and profile. It's also supported by a qualified LPL financial advisor who's committed to providing you with unified, coordinated advice. Whether you're joining the plan for the first time, accumulating assets, or seeking help with a career transition, Worksite Financial Solutions pulls all aspects of your finances into a single, manageable focus that will help you save time. The Sandwich Generation is roughly between the ages of 40 and 65, and according to Pew Research, 1 out of 8 of this generation is caring for both children and an elderly parent, and the numbers are growing rapidly. As boomers continue to age, the number of Americans over age 65 will double to 70 million by the year 2030, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Adding to the problem is the reality of a lower birth rate, meaning fewer siblings to share the burden of caring for aging parents. Many live farther away, which adds to the complication of providing care. Family assistance has become the new retirement wild card, says AgeWave founder Ken Deichtwald in a recent article from Fool.com. The challenge is to simultaneously raise your kids, assist your parents, and live your life, while taking care of multiple generations physically, financially, and emotionally. The Family Caregiver Alliance, a support group for caregivers, says you either are a caregiver, will be a caregiver, or someone will be caring for you between now and whenever you die. This issue affects us all. Previously considered a women's issue, this phenomenon is now dealt with by women, men, and couples. If you do become the go-to generation, we want to help you become more prepared. If you never need this planning, then you'll have lived with less stress worrying about it, and possibly more money to put toward other goals. What can you do in advance? It starts with planning and organizing. The first step is to get a grip on your own finances. The next step is to gather the facts regarding your parents and kids. What are the needs, and what are the resources? Have the productive conversations with your parents and your kids. One thing that may be hard for you at first, but that will really make a difference in the long term, is to get comfortable asking for help. This includes learning where to find help through relatives, friends, organizations, and government agencies. Most of all, identify and respect your own limitations. As you begin to create a new sense of order and organization within your family, you can expect some discomfort or pinch points. It would be considered normal to bump into limitations, real or imagined, such as not enough money to go around, not enough time to manage everything on your own. You may also find initial resistance from your parents until they understand your motives and concerns. Competing goals will require a balancing act between your kids' expenses, parents' needs, and your own living expenses and retirement savings. Resource depletion may be more subtle, but equally real and damaging. This phase of your life may feel more like a marathon than a sprint. You and your family team are the primary resource. You're the solution, provider to both kids and parents. Maintaining your health and quality of life throughout this period is essential. The preparation conversation with your parents may be done in a series of short meetings, starting with the introduction of the need, both theirs and yours, for being prepared, and the desire to get organized in advance. It helps to have a checklist of important information you'll need if you're ever asked to step in. See the resources listed at the end of this presentation for more information. This topic is usually too big to discuss in one sitting. The first meeting is an introduction. The goal is to end with an agreement to take the next steps. Many find the process of organizing and the emotions of the topic to be draining. Keep meetings short and focused on one or two topics. It helps to build confidence and endurance if you keep track of even small steps. This helps soften the feeling of not being able to get it all done. To whatever extent possible, involve your parents in the process. It's still their lives that are being discussed and planned. The longer they're involved, the more they'll feel in control of their lives. It's also a good idea to include other family members in the preparation and planning. Being organized and using checklists will help you stay focused and give you the ability to complete one task at a time. Understanding your parents' cash flow is usually the best starting place. Use the worksheet to identify all income and expenses, which will determine any budget shortfalls or excess. Try to automate as much as you can. If your parents have investment portfolios, you may find it helpful to set up a regular monthly withdrawal plan and discuss portfolio longevity with their financial advisor. Set up auto bill pay and online banking, which is easy to track. Their insurance coverage, especially medical and long-term care, may become essential to their comfort and care. It helps to see a list of policies, benefits, exclusions, premiums, and important phone numbers. Meet with a legal advisor to review 3 key legal documents: living trust or living will, durable power of attorney, and health proxy. Share the load. Organize your family members' team and your advisor's team to divide up the workload needs, such as financial, transportation, and medical liaisons. Keep your parents involved with as much control over their world as possible. When you see warning signs that their health is declining and care may be needed, go with them to meet with their banker, financial advisor, attorney, and CPA. Ultimately, your goal is to have an accurate idea of what your parents' income and spending needs are, and to determine if their income is adequate or if there's a shortfall that needs to be addressed. Some families find it helpful to identify the annual shortfall, for example, $6,000. Then break it down into a monthly figure of $500. At that point, hopefully you have other siblings or family members who will be sharing this cost. So, in our example, you and your sibling each agree to share this cost and contribute $250 per month to your parents' account. Completing your parents' cash flow worksheet takes some time and effort. You may need to do this in segments if it feels overwhelming to your parents. This partial illustration of the parents' cash flow worksheet gives you an idea of the information you'll be gathering. Some of the information you may need to hunt down, and a good bit of it will be available by reviewing several months of bank and credit card statements. Also, review your parents' tax returns for financial data. If they receive dividends or bond interest through the mail, this is a good opportunity to change those to auto deposit. You'll want to pay special attention to expense categories that are increasing more rapidly. For instance, how much did their Medicare supplemental insurance increase over the past year? Were their homeowners association dues, life care facility fees increase? Factor in an overall annual budget increase from year to year to keep up with the cost of living. You'll find a copy of the Parents Cash Flow Worksheet in your take-home materials. It may be helpful to make extra copies for revisions in future years. Cash isn't the only thing that may be in short supply. Often your time, one of your most precious resources, is scarce. Think delegation. You'll need to master the art of sharing the load. Some tasks are best handled by family members. Other tasks will require professional help. Your support team may change over time depending upon your needs. It helps to create a current support team list with names and contact numbers. Additionally, we'd like to provide you with a list of websites to get you started, which is included in your take-home materials. Instructions. Gather the financial information for your parents and complete the worksheet. Add or delete any categories that aren't relevant to make it most useful for you. Remember to include expenses that occur less than regularly. For example, property tax, life insurance payments, large medical copays, heating oil, etc. This is an excellent time to organize and clean out all the supporting documents you'll be reviewing to complete the cash flow worksheet. It will also prove helpful for you as a primer to completing your own cash flow worksheet. Total all income. Deduct total expenses, and the result is your annual surplus or shortfall. Divide by 12 to get your monthly number. If there's a shortfall, determine which family members will share this cost, and divide accordingly to identify each person's share. Now on to the other side of the sandwich. Plan wisely and proactively for college expenses. Exhaust government student loan options before you go private. They provide greater repayment flexibility. The average debt at graduation in 2011 was $27,000 per www.finaid.org publisher Mark Kranowitz. The right major has much more bearing on your children's career and earnings than the prestige of a pricey university. Take a sober look at the projected student loan payments and the earning potential for your kid's chosen career field. Kiplinger Personal Finance suggests their maximum student loan payment be no more than 10% of their take-home pay out of college. Recognize limitations to avoid taking over the payment of your kid's student loans when you're in retirement or saving for retirement. Boomeranging is increasingly more common. The empty nest is becoming the crowded nest, according to Forbes. Boomerang kids are broke with an average of $45,000 debt. And according to Forbes Women, 80% of college students move back home after graduation. This may not be all bad news. Your adult child can be part of the solution to manage the needs of multiple generations of your family. For instance, they can help out with taking granddad to his doctor's appointments, help with cooking, or take on a part-time job while job hunting for their long-term career. The conversation with your adult boomerang children will have a different tone and different objectives. It usually begins with a reality check with respect to how much they need and for how long. It also includes your needs, timelines, and limitations. This is a good time to address expectations, both yours and theirs, and to establish some shared responsibilities. How can they make life easier for other family members? The objective is to help them get organized with a plan to move into the independent stage of their life. This includes budgeting, how to dig themselves out of debt, get a paycheck, save money out of every paycheck, short-term goals for both paying off debt and saving for specific goals. The vast majority of boomers, 93%, say they've provided some kind of support to their adult children, like helping them pay for college tuition or loans, 71%, or a car, 53%. Many are also helping their children pay for car and health insurance, not to mention covering basic expenses like rent and utilities. You'll find instructions included with your copy of this worksheet in your materials. Essentially, you'll want to have your child complete the majority of this. It's valuable to review it together for accuracy and acceptable expense ranges. Tips to launch. 1. Set deadlines. Be clear. For example, you have 6 months to move out. 2. Set boundaries. Curfew, rent, shared household costs, cleaning. 3. Make a game plan. Budget, savings, job search. 4. Be the coach. Progress checks. Encourage networking, volunteering. 5. Don't sacrifice your financial well-being. Don't pay out their debt. We are under-challenging our kids. Raise the bar on expectations. Here's some tips to help you. Get familiar with the Family Medical Leave Act at www.dol.gov to see what help exists. According to AARP, President Obama has proposed $102.5 million in funding to support boomers caring for aging parents. Stay tuned. Also take a look at www.caregiver.org. Don't leave your job. The long-term costs can be too high. According to MetLife Mature Market Institute, the average worker who takes time off to provide care for an aging parent sacrifices more than $300,000 in lost wages and benefits over a lifetime, says Sandra Timmerman, a gerontologist and director with the Institute. This includes lost earnings, 401k match, benefits, and health insurance. Get moving. Just 30 minutes per day, all at once or in 10-minute intervals, improves your fitness and lowers stress, according to Dr. Oz. Get organized. You need to be vigilant in organizing your own financial house. Continue to save for your retirement. Consider long-term care insurance for yourself. A 2011 John Hancock survey shows that 85% of the population has no plan for long-term health care costs. Claim the dependent care credit on your tax return. If you're eligible, the credit can be up to 35% of your qualifying expenses. After you figure out the cash flow needs of your parents, your kids in college, and your adult children, the next step is to do your own cash flow, including your retirement saving needs. You'll find a basic cash flow worksheet in your materials. Once you've done all the cash flow worksheets, it helps to map it all out on a family timeline of financial needs. Here, you want to identify how much money is needed over the next several years. It may be more realistic to look at this in 3 to 5 year time frames for easier management. We'll look at an example in the next slide. Pay special attention to the gaps, those particularly expensive years where a lot of needs are converging at once. Use a worksheet to fill in the specific amounts each family member needs. Who needs what, when, and for how long? You want to take a comprehensive look at what all the needs are in one place, so you know in advance what the shortfalls are for planning purposes. In our example, Jan and Jose are both age 55. They plan to retire at age 68, 13 years from now. They save $8,000 per year in their 401k plans between them. They have 2 children. Sarah started college in 2013, and although they saved over the years, they'll need an additional $10,000 per year for the next 4 years. Meanwhile, older brother Boomerang Bob has returned home after losing his job. They calculate he'll need $12,000 for 1 year only to help with rent, about $700 per month, and car insurance, about $300 per month. They help Jan's mother with $500 per month toward her living expenses, and they cover Jose's father's long-term health care premium of $3,500 per year. Sometimes it helps to see a more visual timeline of needs. Here's a summary of the data for their family financial timeline. In this example, 2013 is the big year when everyone has needs. Retirement savings, $8,000. Child number 1, tuition, $10,000. Child number 2, boomerang help, $12,000. Parents, mom, age 76, $6,000. Parents, father, age 77, $3,500, for a total of $39,500. Annual needs totals by year. From 2014 to 2016, Bob is off the family expenses. The total is now $27,500. From 2017 to 2025, retirement savings and parents' cost are now $17,500. From 2026 to 2038, Jan and Jose retire and then mom passes away. The total is now $3,500. We see from our example that Jan and Jose had their most expensive year in 2013, with family needs of $39,500. You'll want to plan ahead with creative solutions like additional savings, additional jobs, additional family members contributing, adult children chipping in, or other solutions. Think creative housing solutions like kids sharing apartments, parents living with their siblings, etc. Sometimes the gaps cannot be filled with savings and insurance, but you're not alone. CNN reports that 43.5 million Americans care for aging parents or loved ones. They go on to say this will be the first generation caring for their parents as long as they cared for their children. Find support and ideas from local community groups and online communities to share ideas. Your local area council on aging is sure to be a great resource for you. Financial advisors may be one of your best resources. Consider using them. They can help you with retirement projections for you, college planning for your kids, determining a monthly withdrawal schedule for your parents, consolidate assets to ease paperwork, asset longevity planning for your parents' accounts, bottom line numbers, what you need to save to get the job done. Before we conclude today's seminar, here are 6 concise tips that are also on the resources sheet we have for you to take home. Get support. Start saving. Research sources for elder care and student financial aid. Remember your well-being, health, financial, emotional. Get help from a financial planner. Keep a resource list of help. And keep in mind, it is a marathon, not a sprint.